Hey everybody, welcome back to the Strapology podcast. I'm Wendy, your host, and today I have a very special guest, long time in the making. I've got my mum here, and we've talked about having her on for a while, and now we have the time and the space. How you doing, Mum?
Pretty good.
That's good. So, Mum is an interesting character, and I wanted to ask you because you were saying the other day about your identity as an artist.
Oh,
So,
yes.
your journey with that and how, it took you time to identify as that. So, what was going on there?
Well, when you say something like I'm an artist, you have to feel like you're authentically an artist and that you're not, just sort of making it up. But yeah, so for years I had other personas. I always loved art when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time saying to Mum, don't move, while I drew her and things like that. But I became a teacher, then a mother, then a teacher again, and that took all of my time. And then eventually I wasn't a teacher, and I actually went to a tarot reader,
Yeah.
and up came the death card, which is like an ending but a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I sort of said to her, well, actually, I'm an artist. I'm going to call myself an artist. And that's how it happened.
How did it feel?
Really good.
That's good.
Mhm.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
So today's Friday,
Mm.
and I really wanted to put you on the spot here.
We haven't discussed any of
Oh
this.
yeah.
I don't know what she's going to do to me.
This is like really impromptu. Basically, we sat down about half an hour to an hour ago about to record. And then we were like, well, I was like, I always get a bit nervous, honestly, still, even though it's been nearly 2 years. I was like, let's just 3 more minutes, right? I'm like, okay, we'll regroup in 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden, all at once, my husband rang. The people checked out of the Airbnb. They've got the key. So this pest controller showed up. He couldn't get in. The pool guy came here to do stuff with the pool. And all of a sudden, all of this like stuff happened. So now we're back. So it feels like take two, but it's take one. And we just haven't planned anything. So we're just rolling with it. But in the spirit of Friday, so picture
Mm.
there's a whole bunch of people out there
Yeah.
getting ready, heading into work, you know, gonna get their tits out, shake their ass, create some dreams, break some dreams. All of the stuff is gonna be happening.
Yeah.
Do you have any words of motivation?
Oh my goodness. I didn't think you'd ask me that.
I know.
Well, actually, like when I'm in a situation where I have to get up and perform, which I do, I've been, a teacher, I've been president of this, that, and the other, where you're talking and trying to inspire people and lead them and all that. Most of all, be yourself and don't worry what other people think.
Fuck yes.
Just don't worry about it. Just get up there. There's always people who are going to disagree or say something, or they need to put someone else down so they feel better, something like that. Just forget all that. Put it to the side. Just know that you're doing the best you can, and you're going to get up there and, have a good time and try to inspire people.
That's good. I love that. That's similar to the theme of last week, like literally just being yourself. And I so in the background, sorry. I don't know if you can hear, probably not in the recording. So honestly, okay, we're both giggling here right now because the washing machine is about to shoot into space. We got a new washing machine and, perfect timing. Mum's here. Who better to help find a new washing machine than your mother? And this one is so noisy. And it's just honestly, like if you've been following along with, you know, what's going on for me in my personal life. My husband and I are trying to decide, do we sell our investment property? It's an Airbnb at the moment. And honestly, there's just constant ridiculous shit that goes on. So hearing the washing machine now is just another thing that's like, I'm annoyed at the Airbnb right now because the sheets for it are in there and it's just like, it's been ridiculous. So we spent so long trying to find a washing machine and I think we successfully found the noisiest washing machine. It's apparently new that you could possibly find.
But
so
it works.
yeah, it works. It works. And it's yeah.
It's doing its job.
It's good at pretending to be a thunderstorm. So yeah, okay. So yes, be yourself, be yourself. And I love that. And literally just who gives a shit what other people think.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, Mum, I've shared this in the podcast previously about how it took me about 5 years to tell anyone in the family, you know, that I was a stripper. And, you know, I went to uni, studied science. And so a little question for you, what surprised you more? Was it that I became a scientist or that I became a stripper?
Oh, well, stripper probably.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
No, you're
Okay.
smart. You've always been
Oh,
smart.
thank you. I do
Yeah.
remember you saying once, who would have thought you'd go to uni?
Possibly because you didn't have the easiest course through school, you know. But
What was happening there?
I don't know. I think possibly a little bit of undiagnosed ADD or something like that.
Yeah, I had a few difficulties.
Yeah, you know, the report cards were always, you know, chatting and not on task and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then you went off to TAFE for that little bit and you learnt according to your preferred style, which was learning through doing.
Yeah.
And there was a whole range of people around you to learn from, not just one teacher out there. You know, there's other people in your course. You'll always learn from the other people in your course.
Yeah.
Is what I found with further education.
Yeah.
And
true.
Yeah. And then you realised, hey, I am smart. But what surprised me was you chose to go back to school because that is the hardest part. I thought you'd go further on in TAFE and do more horticulture. Yeah. The fact you went back to school, I think, was pretty brave.
Yes.
And you did really well.
Thank you. Yeah, I was shocked. I think the real question is what surprised me more was that I did science. No, not that I did. Well, yeah, honestly, like, because I dropped out of school. All I wanted to do was stay at home and drink and smoke weed. And that's when you really put your foot down. You're like, you're not dropping out of school and doing nothing. And then you marched me down to the TAFE and I looked at, I didn't even know what TAFE was. I honestly had no idea what was going on with anything really. And you know, I looked at the list of courses and of course, because I was into weed, then I thought, oh, I'll do horticulture, you know.
Yeah, but we'd always gardened at home.
Yeah, I always, and if you see on my stories, like I love gardening, like it's just, it
and
just brings a lot of peace.
And
Yeah.
your brother and your grandfather was actually a professional gardener.
Right.
He actually, as a young man before he migrated, he was a gardener at Sandringham. You know,
Which is,
well, it's one of the royal homes in Norfolk, which is where our family's from.
Right, there you go. So yeah, it's in the blood. It's in the blood on my mum's side, yes. But that really did change the course of things. Failing everything, not even trying at all, not even in my awareness that I could try, because I was always just concerned with I really struggled to focus. So I was always in the back of the class chatting, making jokes, being disruptive and kicked out of class usually, and then eventually just dropped out. It just I didn't gel at all at school. But then doing horticulture and just finding something I enjoyed and something I felt somewhat competent at. it changed everything. It was like, it gave me just that tiny glimpse of confidence that I could apply myself and just do something. And then, yeah, changed high schools and went back, repeated year 11. That's when I kind of dropped out, I guess.
Asked a lot of questions.
Yes, I got bullied a lot, actually, because I just didn't understand what was going on, because I hadn't really concentrated or taken anything in for the grade 8, grade 9, pretty much the whole time up until year 11. I was like, why maths was particularly interesting for me, because I like maths and I like numbers, but I didn't understand why you would use a multiply sign there. Why not choose like it just, I couldn't see the pattern until I asked enough questions that it finally made sense. And then I got A pluses, which was crazy.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
And the school gave her an award.
Oh yeah, that's
for
right.
applying herself.
Yeah.
Which
Because
really,
see me
really
trying.
inspired all her mates who had dropped out. They were so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. So for the people listening, because I know a lot of people, I know in my journey it was like a really, really terrifying thing to be a daughter and to be working in the stripping environment and be like, I'm an adult, but I'm also a daughter, and all these sort of roles, and being like, how do I tell my family what I do? I told my brother first when we were in Poland, actually, on a holiday. I was in Europe for a while and I met up with him, and he was super open and understanding because he used to work as a croupier in Brisbane at the casino. So he did crazy hours, and when he would finish, him and his friends would go to the strip club. I think it was what's it called? Showgirls in the CBD, because
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, did you? Well, they went for just to wind down, have a drink.
Yeah.
How annoying. We love those customers. But because everything else was shut and they obviously didn't want to be at work, so they would go there and just have a few drinks, and so he was super like, good on you, like good smart move. And I remember when I told you, I couldn't hold it in because we were at Christmas
I was so worried.
at your sister's, and my head was just exploding. I was like, everybody knows.
Oh, no.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, yeah, my head, I was like, everybody knows. What do I say? What if someone asks what I do? Oh my God, because I'd basically said, I've stopped being a scientist, and I'm working in a bar, or I can't remember really what I was saying, and I just didn't like the whole I'm not saying it, and then I just put you in the corner somewhere and just
No, actually, you told me in Esk, we went out we went for a coffee together, and we're in the, I remember it very clearly. And
I remember this clearly.
Memory's funny like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you remember it?
Well, you were really nervous, and then you told me what you did. You worked in the strip bar, and I just said, "Are you safe?" Like that was my main concern, because I have never been to a strip bar and I knew nothing, and I still haven't actually. I didn't get to go when you were there. Yeah. And so, that's all I wanted to know. And Wendy reassured me that she was okay.
Yeah, I actually find it more safe than any, normal clubs, because there's more rules and structure in place, which
and
is
surveillance.
Yeah, you got bouncers, they've got your back, they're watching, like in a normal bar. I've been inappropriately touched. Well, I was going to say probably more there, but then, it can happen in the stripping industry. Only you've got backup, more so. Like it can happen anywhere, really, unfortunately. But yeah, very supportive, which is really, really nice. And so I just want to ask you, what do you feel is really important in life?
Love. I'm getting old. The older you get, it gets much more simplified, And well, I'm only 70, but the closer you get to the to the final part of your journey. Really, it just gets distilled down to love. And of course, along the way, I mean, you want to feel useful, you want to do things, you want to create a world for yourself, that might be a home, or it might, whatever it might be. You want to create something that you can be within and feel that you're comfortable there to operate out of, So yeah, sometimes it involves a lot of hard work, especially when you have kids. You're sort of going flat out for a while there. But I mean, and a lot of other things can seem important along the way, like, holidays and that special place that you develop for yourself, putting nice things in it, and all of that requires capital unless you're highly inventive. And you make things out of nothing, which people do.
You've got good experience with that, don't you?
Yeah, people wanted less once upon a time. You're happy to have a bookshelf made out of bricks and planks of wood. It's just everyone did it,
That was actually our bed. So I know I've shared on here before, I had to share a bed with Mum until I was about 11.
No, 10.
10, okay, sorry, 10. Lucky.
No, but you had your own. You had your bunk bed.
Yeah, that was scary as fuck. So Mum made a bunk bed that was so scary. It was so dangerous feeling. I couldn't.
It moved a little bit,
Yeah, there was a very small house. There was no room, so Mum was very creative with making beds out of bricks and wood and different things. Yeah, which fair enough. And so I've also shared on this podcast before as well, like seeing my two parents, and they're quite different, I guess, with the way that you've handled your finances and things. Dad's kind of like never really worked in my lifetime, but he received that big payout, and just really fanciful, kind of not usual structure there. And then you were very careful. And saving what, $30 a fortnight.
Yeah, that's how I got to buy my first house in my mid-40s. Never thought I'd own one.
Yeah.
But it was just from saving the very meager amount of $30 per pay.
Right.
And got me enough for a deposit, which was different back then. You could have 5% deposit. Yeah.
It does change year to year, but yeah.
Well, it changed immediately the day that I bought the house.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Well, I remember that was something that it was like the timing was like bang on.
I signed for it on 9/11. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone was distraught, but I was pretty happy.
Yeah. Wow.
And
yes.
And so then they changed the rules after that. Prices went shot up.
Yeah.
And you had to have 20% interest.
Wow. You just got in there.
20% deposit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
That's cool. That's really awesome. And then I just want to, I know that, I just try and stick to the short and punchy kind of episodes. But I wanted to ask, so I was speaking to someone recently, and I have a bit of a theory, like going back to, telling people in your life about, what you do. And then also I just want to quote you on, like, who cares what people think, just be yourself. But the fear around like telling your parents, if that's the case, and if that's relevant for you. But I have a theory that somewhere deep down, like, there's the nurture, there's the the environment you grew up in, and somehow the influence of the parents kind of takes hold, right? Whether it's beliefs, experience, whatever. And there's something, you know, we're all kind of mirrors for each other. And so I'm just wondering, if you were to think, what do you think would be some of the lessons or some of the experiences that filtered from you to me that helped me feel, I guess, aligned and comfortable in the stripping world?
Well, I ended up being a sole parent, 3 kids, teaching full time, which is like 2 full-time jobs. And the thing is, you learn a lot about yourself, because I grew up totally airy-fairy. I was the 3rd daughter. I just daydreamed my whole childhood. I didn't learn how to cook, clean, or anything. And I just had a happy time. And then
Lovely.
then the real world came crashing in on me, with a very sort of unreliable husband, and then no husband. And you just learn you just do what you got to do. You just keep going, and you don't give up. And I know you've learned that one, because one of your lessons is persistence pays. And I'm always quoting that to people. See, persistence pays.
Persistence, consistency, you know, and yeah, you really showcased that with, like, you know, like we were just saying before, even $30 a paycheck, you know, eventuated in something solid for you. And, you know, just that resilience. Like I watched and I thought, being a single parent doesn't look very fun. No offense.
I had good friends. Okay, another lesson in life, nurture your friendships. And that means reaching out. Don't wait for them to come to you. See, if you remember, I always contacted my friends. People have busy lives. And just because they're not contacting you doesn't mean that they don't care about you. They're just caught up in their own stuff at the time. But if you would like to, you know, have a little bit of contact, then yeah, reach out. And old friends are good friends. Are really, because anyway, you can always, I make friends all the way along in my life, and I try to keep hold of all of them to some extent or the other. It's a bit hard to keep hold of all of them, but yeah, I mean,
you've always had a strong support network through friendship. That's definitely something.
Support them,
that's definitely something I need to strengthen in myself, because I guess just that whole abandonment wound, you know, with Dad always
it's easy
not
to
being
take
around.
fright.
It's like once bitten, twice shy, and I can get in my head about, you know, fear of reaching out. And it's interesting because, you know, in the strip club, there is no space for fear of rejection, because you're just going to be leaving opportunity on the table. So that has been such a massive part for me, even though I had that example from you and seeing that, but just a way more overwhelming, I think, emotionally experience with Dad. And then in strip club, that's less, you know, like it's like a double-edged sword. It's like one way, it's like the fear of rejection is definitely like a deep wound where it held me back, but at the same time, experiencing rejection like in the strip club or rudeness or things like that, it's like you could never be as rejecting or rude as my dad. You know, so it's kind of like nice try. So it's kind of like that fear, but then overcoming it was always like this is nothing, you know. So
not many things are like the end of the world, you know what I mean?
Only the end of the world.
Only the end of the world. We won't talk about that one, that's a whole other thing. But I mean, people's problems are as big as they perceive them. That's why you should never put down someone else when you think they've got an absolute pimple of a problem. You know, that it's not this mountain, but because to them it is, you know, and you have to respect that. But like, it's always good to have a perspective looking this way and then that way, you know, so my problem's this big, but oh my goodness, I'm not in war-torn, completely destroyed city with my family dying in front of me or something, I mean, that's extreme, but it's happening to people right now. And things in this country, there's terrible things happening to people right now, who are completely without security. So it's always good to try to keep your the difficulties in perspective and feel like, yeah, I can deal with this. How am I going to deal with it? It takes a little bit of thinking sometimes.
Creativity, it's true. And yes, perspective for your own difficulties and also others. I think that's super important. It's very easy to write things off or, catastrophize in different directions.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And anything else that you'd like to share?
Oh, I had a lot of fun when Wendy was writing.
Oh yeah.
When Wendy was writing the material, I was so proud of Wendy because she was, I'll start crying in a minute, but because she used her ability to analyze, that's the scientist in her, to analyze why she had success in what she was doing and to pull it apart and put it into some sort of structure. I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you.
And then I injected a tiny bit for like teaching skills and editing.
Yes.
And sometimes role playing was fun.
Yes. So yeah, when I was like, it was really such a big task to be like, how do I structure this? But in that process, it helped me so much actively at work as well to be placing my observations and experience into a structure. So fucking helpful. So things just really escalated. But yeah, Mum, when I try and describe things, and then it was so helpful. You noticing patterns too that I guess I was like noticing, but I was struggling to make sense of things. And I remember when I had sort of worked out a sort of structure to help with, say, a sale, like just converting conversation into a sale. And then we did some role plays, and I was asking Mum to hustle my husband. And it was so funny. And I remember Mum was like twiddling with the necklace, so nervous, Well, here we go. Hi. But it did. And then so doing like an open-ended hustle really of like, oh my gosh. But that's what happens in the stripping world. It's like, start and good luck. You'll work it out, and for so long for me, I know, like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing and saying? And anyway.
That's sort of cruel.
And then so, watching Mum, with her like hustle with my husband, fucking hilarious. But then like looking at a bit of structure and framework, and then it actually, you're pretty good.
I improved.
Pretty good at the hustle, I must say.
Yeah. There was something flitted through my head then, but I've gone and forgotten.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, well, I'm also really proud of the fact that you're helping people, because as I said before, it's pretty cruel to just be dropped in that situation without any framework, any knowledge. Like what other job does that? And you are making a move to skill people, to give them confidence. And to be able to do a good job at what they're doing,
because it's like day and night.
And and then protecting themselves personally through through the those sort of personal skills that you give people of mindset and all that type of thing. I think that's definitely really, really good.
Thanks, Mum. Definitely passionate about it because I've experienced the difference between feeling extremely not confident and then being able to develop that and then the difference in life. So yeah, really
Mhm.
passionate about that. And
Mm.
it's a bit cruel, but I think it's just for lack of you know, whatever. Like, I don't know. There's many things that are involved with like
Mm.
why it is the way it is. But I must say I had a lot more training when I worked at McDonald's when I was 15.
Exactly.
Every single thing, and yeah, so it is, yeah, I've done so many different jobs and there's always been at least something. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, yeah, interesting starting and like go for it. A lot of people ask that, how did you get into it? And yeah, I literally just
Jumped.
jumped and did it. I shot first and aimed later, for sure. So anyway, Mum, thank you so much.
Oh, it was wonderful.
We finally
Thank
did
you,
it.
Andy.
Cool. All right. I hope everyone has a great
Okay.
week.
Best wishes, everyone.
Bye.